So yes, the title is true. I will no longer be investing in dividend stocks. But before I actually get into why, let me actually take you back to 2020 when I actually first initially started investing into dividend stocks. Then I'm going to show you how my stocks have been performing since, how much I've been paid over the past 2 years, and what stocks I'll actually be investing in moving forward. So when you invest in stocks, there's really only two ways you make money. You can either make money by making some profit, so you buy that stock at a cheap price and it goes up in value, and then you sell, so that way you can make money on the profit, or you can actually make money through dividends. And this is when you actually own the stock and you're paid dividends. You're paid some money for actually holding onto the stock. Now the amount you get paid is less significant compared to, selling the stock and gaining, all the capital income, but you still earn money every single time, no matter how the stock is performing. So that was the one that actually I preferred when I first found out about dividends investing. I realized that rather than selling my stock, which I don't want to do, because I'd rather hold on to the stock, make that capital gain, as well as actually get paid for holding on to the stock as well. So this was like a cheat code. This was always what I've wanted, just making passive income. So when I found out about dividends investing, it was nothing but perfect. So what made this perfection even more beautiful than it was is that there was something known as the 4% rule. And this is when you only withdraw 4% of what your total portfolio is. So the idea is you get paid dividends, your stocks also increase in value. All of that has a total net worth in a way. And let's just assume that you have 1 million invested into the stock market. Now the stock market usually grows above 4% minimum anyway. So if you're to withdraw just 4% every single year, that would mean that you can live off that 40k every single year. And this is kind of like an infinite money glitch, because 40k is a lot of money in fact. So obviously that was the aim, that was the goal for me, to save and invest around 1 million. And doing that from my age is really good due to compound investing, because the money that I invest now is going to have a lot of years to actually grow to help me to reach that goal. So in other words, my vision was to invest that 1 million, have a minimum of 40k every single year, passive income, plus whatever other income I'm earning. So roughly, I would maybe have even 60, 80 or 100k every single year to live off. So as sweet as all of this sounds, you're probably wondering, why on earth would I stop dividends investing? Now, the simple way to put it is, after doing a bit of research, tax is going to be a lot of problem. Now, I have no issue with paying tax, but there's definitely ways around it. Now, if I'm to go through that route of dividends investing in the future, it will be an issue. Eventually, I could be getting taxed 50%. Also, because I'm not in the US, and most of the strong performing stocks that I'm actually invested in are from the US. Most of the good big companies anyway are US companies. So it also means that I have to pay even more tax to actually buy these companies and own these companies. So in total, it could be over 50% tax in total. Now, this changes the entire vision, because initially I wanted to have 1 million invested. Now, this would mean that to actually earn that 40k, I would have to have probably like 2 million or even more invested, just so I can actually get 40k after tax. Now, that's when this becomes a bit ridiculous. Just giving that much money to the government is a bit ridiculous. So now I'm just going to show you exactly how my stocks have been performing so far, the gains I've had, the dividends I've been paid, so you guys can just see how much potential would have actually come from this. So you can see that I have 6,638 pounds in this portfolio, which is definitely good. I believe 1,188 pounds is all profit, so that's around 22% ish. So I do have leg, I have DTE, I have quite a few stocks. I have about 25 in total. My biggest losses at the moment is going to be Intel. Intel is down by 122 pounds, and my biggest wins is going to be something like Chevron, which I'm up by 173 pounds, and I only have 2 shares. So half of the amount of money that I have on Chevron alone is literally based on the profit. 3M is one that I really believe in. I mean, I'm currently down by 56 pounds, but this has paid me a ton of dividends. The thing about dividend stocks is I'm not really fussed by, the losses. In fact, these losses are definitely not that relevant, because the dividends that you earn on them is really good. The point of dividend stocks is, whether the stock market is performing well or is not performing well, you get paid dividends regardless, especially when you're invested in really good stocks. They've been paying dividends for 30 years, 50 years. They pay dividends despite how the market is performing. So this is the reason why dividend stocks is really dope. I won't even lie, it's just really good. It's usually better for those in the US, just because you can kind of save tax a bit more. But being in the UK and trying to have these big boy stocks is a lot different. Now, yes, I could invest into UK stocks, but UK stocks just aren't it. The US stocks has shown it performs better than the UK stocks in general. So I'd rather just not do that. I'm not really a fan of the UK stocks. We have like Tesco and stuff. Nah, I'm not really a fan. But the US stocks are good, and that's why I prefer to actually invest into the US stocks, because these I can have all my confidence that if the stock market was to dip, they will continue to actually pay dividends and they won't just cut their dividends. So taking a look at a stock like ExxonMobil, which is one of my favorite stocks just because it's performed really well. I mean, when I invested into Exxon, there was the fear of, oil prices, but Exxon has performed amazing since I've had it. I only have 3 shares and my profit is £187. I bought Exxon at approximately $46 and now it is going for 114. Now that is, if I had a lot more money in Exxon now, that profit is obviously sweet, but that's not the case. In terms of dividends now, Exxon has been paying me quite well as well. I've been earning £1.95, £1.86, £1.75. It's been a pound for a very, 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 very long time. So I mean, this isn't the biggest money in the world, but it's money that's coming in, and this is compounding with all the other dividends that I'm earning from all the other stocks. So then I'll begin earning like 15, 20, £25 every single month without doing a single thing. I'm earning that just because I'm invested into these stocks. Now in total, since I've actually started and since I've opened this portfolio, I've earned a total of £295. So far in the month of November that we are in at the moment, and November hasn't ended yet, but I've been paid a decent amount of money. First I was paid £2.43. Then I was paid 76 pence. Then I was paid £3.39, £1.25, £3, 7 pence by AbbVie, 81 pence by Pemba. Now this isn't the total yet, but this alone is probably around, let's say, £10, £11 so far. But if we were to look at how much I've been earning, when I first started, then we can see that I was getting 6 pence, 4p, 16. Now these are pennies. Now this just shows you the potential. In the space of 2 years, I went from earning 2p, 9p, money that is literally irrelevant, actually earning something decent that can buy you, some food or whatever. Of course, I'm not spending this money. I believe in just reinvesting everything back straight into the companies. Now, if you were to give me another 2 years, even 5 years, you can imagine how much this would be earning. So now, what exactly would I be investing in next? Now, the major thing is investors with way bigger portfolios than mine. Other YouTubers, Warren Buffett himself says invest in the S&P 500, invest in the overall stock market, because it's proven countless times to be, the general stock market. It usually beats 99% of people. So you want to invest into the S&P 500. Now, this is something I have been doing, and it just gives me a bit more confidence. Now, over time, I have seen this myself. My eyes have opened, because I initially had a whole portfolio where I was invested into Tesla. I was invested into all these big cap companies that are growth stocks, but eventually I lost about 50% of my portfolio. If you do want to find out exactly what happened in that video, then be sure to actually check the description. Big companies like S&P 500 is probably what I've been investing in moving forward. It's just proven countless times to beat most people. Now, yes, there are some people who are able to beat the S&P 500, but these are just a handful of people. Maybe in the future, I would actually look into having a bit of growth stocks with large cap companies, some international mutual funds and all sorts, and kind of build one that hopefully would beat the stock market. I already have an ISA at the moment with the S&P 500 in. One thing I also learned about growth stocks as well that made me realize that it's not ideal for most people is when you look at growth stocks and when you look at their highest point, when people lose money at that point, they actually do not recover as quick as most people say. Everyone says the stock market will eventually go up. Yes, that is very true, but there's some companies that have not recovered, companies like Intel that have not recovered for several years. It might take 20, 30 years, and these companies have still not recovered since they dipped. So how long are you willing to wait for your money to basically recover? It's not worth really waiting 40 years for you to regain that same profit that you had initially. So ultimately, for now, I'm not going to be adding any more money into my dividends portfolio. I'm not going to sell it either. If anything, I might maybe reduce it by like £500 or 1k just to keep it at a decent price. Then I'm going to move that money into the S&P 500. However, one thing to note is that if I don't invest a single penny into this portfolio for the next 22 years, then due to compound interest and everything else, this portfolio is still going to grow to around 55, 60,000 pounds anyway. So that is a decent amount of money that I'm not going to complain about. That is definitely significant enough. So I'm just going to leave it. Every single dividends that I'm going to be paid, I'm just going to invest it back into these companies. My S&P 500 portfolio, as well as the VTI, which is something I'm also going to look into. I'm going to invest into those two and have these grow as large and as high as they can, and hopefully in the next, let's say, 10 years or 5 years or even 2 years, I'll show you guys an update on exactly how these portfolios are performing. So that's a wrap. Thank you guys for watching. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.